Calling with Market Trader Tao, and glad to have you back. Today we're going to be talking about triangles and a continuation in our series in chart patterns. This is the second part of triangles, and we're going to be talking about where triangles are expected to be developed in your chart phase cycle and what they look like in those phases, and we're going to get to it right now. Now, the first thing we have here is we have our basic chart cycle. This is the cycle part 2. Here's your top 3, and you have 4. Now, typically, you're going to expect to see triangles only in certain places on a chart. First place you're going to expect to see a triangle will be on your first pullback, or your second pullback on your bull phase, upward phase, and then as this red line here is your 200 moving average, and so as you cross under your 200 moving average, you're going to start to see, we call what is a bear cycle. It's going to be bearish. And you can expect to see a triangle develop here or here on these corrective moves. Now, once you start to move into a bear cycle, when we were talking about before is these upward movements right here, the impulse movements were in a bull cycle where the trend is going up. Well, now the trend is going to start going down, and the downward movement will actually become your impulse. So you have to switch the way you think, and these upward corrections will become your motive corrective cycles. Okay, and so these are where you're going to see your triangles and expect to see them to develop. Now, if they start developing somewhere else, and they're probably not triangles, they may be a pennant or a flag or some other type of thing, and we're going to talk about those in another series. Now, in a down phase, your triangles are going to look a little different, and you're going to have, there's basically 3 different types of triangles. You have a symmetrical triangle, you have a ascending triangle, and you have a descending triangle. Okay, so we're going to talk about those first. The symmetrical triangle is going to, now they happen in either the bear phase or the bull phase. Now, if you're in an upward trend, the symmetrical triangle is going to, you're usually going to have your ABC cycle here, but the symmetrical triangle will be more of a symmetrical shape. All triangles are continuation triangles. All triangles are continuation patterns. They're going to continue in the direction, as a rule, in the direction of the trend that you're in. And so once you reached A, B, C, D, and E, then you're going to have your breakout to the upside. Now, on a bear cycle, it's just the opposite. You're going to have your trend is heading down, and your first correction is your A wave, and then you're going to have another impulse wave, and that's B, and then C, and then D, and then E, and then a breakout to the downside. Now, these are symmetrical in the fact that they both top and the bottom of your resistance and your support lines are are coming to an apex, and so that is basically where what you can expect to see on a symmetrical triangle. Now, a descending triangle does not necessarily means that it's happening in a descending bull or a bearish phase. A descending triangle is how the resistance and the support work. In other words, you'll have your resistance here, or your support here, and your resistance line is going to descend. So in other words, you're gonna, in your impulse, you're gonna come up, you're gonna correct, it'll be A, B, C, D, and sometimes you'll overshoot a little bit on these descending ones because people think they're going to go down, and then they'll quickly pop back up and you'll get a breakout. Usually in descending or ascending triangles, many times you'll get a little bit of an overshoot on your E. Okay? Now on a bear cycle, you're going to have basically the same thing. You're going to have A, B, C, D, and E. Okay? Now, what they are, this is the descending portion of it. It doesn't necessarily mean it's in a descending chart pattern. And your ascending is just basically the opposite. You're going to be coming up, you're going to hit your A, and you're going to have a flat resistance line, and then B, C, D, E, there, that's the ascending part of the triangle, and in a down phase, you're going to have A, B, C, D, E. In other words, and those are going to be to the downside there. Okay? So that's basically, so you'll have your symmetrical, you'll have a descending and ascending triangles, and that's pretty much what we have for triangles. And there are a couple of other ones that we're going to talk about, and those are usually you find at the tops and the very bottoms, and they have a whole different look and structure and a purpose. And so we'll go into that next time. Right now, these are your basic triangle patterns and how they work and where you can find them.